All right, I'm jumping right in. Here we go. Today's video is about Mark 16, 9 through 20, the latter ending of Mark. It's a very famous ending. A lot of people know about it, a lot of people don't. So we're going to talk about it and what it has to do with the Book of Mormon. All right, I'm going to read it to you real fast. It's going to be a lengthy video. I'm going to try and get it done in 8 minutes, so I'm going to speak quick. All right, here we go. Mark 16. I don't need nine. Let me just start right here. Okay. This is Jesus. He's talking to him and he tells him, he tells the disciples all that, go into all the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who believe in my name. They will cast out demons. They will speak in new tongues. They will pick up serpents with their hands. And if they drink any deadly poison, it will not hurt them. They will lay their hands on the sick and they will recover. All right, so we're going to focus on those verses right there, 15 to 18. Mark 16, 15 to 18. All right, now the entire length of the manuscript that we're focusing on is 9 through 20. Mark 16, 9 through 20, or 9 through 19, whatever it is. Yeah, 9 through 20. But we're only going to focus on 15 through 18. Just basically just the words of Jesus, what's in red right here. Now, the reason why we are looking at this is because most scholars, not the King James Version onlyist people, but most scholars, a lot of them, they believe that this was added later. All of it, 9 through 20 was added later. And this is important because let me come down here. Where was it? The long ending of Mark original. Here we go. The long ending of Mark verses 16, 9 through 20 is widely considered to be a later interpolation rather than an original part of the gospel. Many early manuscripts, including the Codex Sinaiticus, Codex Vaticanus, that's out of Alexandria, and this is out of the Vatican, they do not include it. Man, and those are the oldest ones, some of the oldest ones we have right there. Now I'm going to read this. This is going to be a little lengthy, but oh, did I not save it? Okay, well, we'll just have to click on it again. Okay, here we go. Mark 16, 9 through 20 has been called a later addition to the Gospel of Mark by most New Testament scholars in the past century. The main reason for doubting the authenticity of the ending is it does not appear in some of the oldest existing witnesses, and is reported to be absent from many others in ancient times by early writers of the church. Moreover, the ending has some stylistic features which also suggest that it came from another hand. The Gospel is obviously incomplete without these verses, and so most scholars believe that the final leaf of the original manuscript was lost, and that the ending which appears in English versions today, verses 9 through 20, was supplied during the 2nd century. Below are some excerpts from excerpts from various scholarly sources that include that the verses are a later addition. Now it goes on to say, nevertheless, some scholars have not been impressed with the evidence against these verses and have maintained that they are original. These scholars have pointed out that the witnesses which bring the verses into question are few, and that these verses are quoted by the church fathers very early, even in the 2nd century. To represent this point of view, we give below a long excerpt from FH8 scripture. But we're not going to go into all that. But anyway, it's contested that it's not there because of the earlier manuscripts. Now, your King James Version has it. The NIV version I got right here has it, but a lot of them say this on it. A lot of people might not even know it. But like the NIV, it says right down here, can you see that? You can't see it. But anyway, I'll read it to you. It says the most reliable early manuscripts and other ancient witnesses do not have Mark 16, 9 through 20. That's in this new NIV. It's in the ESV. It's in the NLT because they're the modern Bibles. So it is not in there. I mean, they publish it because, like, one of the things say it's a famous passage. It's millions and millions of billions of people love the passage. It's been there forever, been in the King James going on. But this is what's important. All right, let me go back to it so I can read it to you one more time. Go into all the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. Now, we know how we got this stuff is copies of copies of copies of copies over time, passed down. We know how we got it. Don't know when this was added, but apparently it was added sometime. I feel like the majority of the scholars I believe. Now, I've only looked at, 10 of them, so don't think my opinion holds any kind of water. But I'm going to read it to you. Go into all the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who believe in my name. They will cast out demons. They will speak in new tongues. They will pick up serpents with their hands. And if they drink any deadly poison, it will not hurt them. They will lay their hands on the sick and they will recover. Okay, so we know that that's contested. We accept it. It's either in there or it ain't. It's a beloved story. We keep it. Now we're going to jump over to Mormon. It's the Book of Mormon, but it's the Book Mormon in the Book of Mormon, chapter 9. All right. For behold, thus, verse 22, 9:22. For behold, thus said Jesus Christ, the Son of God, unto his disciples, who should tarry, yea, and also to all his disciples in the hearing of the multitude. Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. And he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. And my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. All right. Now here's the problem. Obviously, this verse 22 to 24 was taken from uh, Mark 16, 9 to 20. You can't tell me it wasn't, because in the Book of Mormon down there at the footnotes, it's got it marked out. Which if you know your Bible, the second you read it, you're going to know. So in the footnotes, it talks about Mark 15, Mark 16, Mark 17, going through this part here. But the problem that the Mormons are going to have is if Christians using our Christian Bible and all accept that this is not there, how do the Mormons explain the golden tablets that Joseph Smith apparently picked up and translated it from? So either the golden tablets are crap, or maybe they're going to be like the King James people and say, well, that's just more proof that it was there. I don't know. But the Mormons have a big issue with that. Go into all the world and proclaim the gospel. Even down here, look, this is the ESV Bible that we're looking at on Bible Hub. Some manuscripts in the book with 16:8. Others include verses 19 to 20 immediately after verse 8. At least one manuscript inserts additional material after verse 14. Some manuscripts include after verse 8 the following, but they reported briefly to Peter and those with him that they had been told. So there's even more stuff that's not in the regular Bibles, not even in the KJV. But go into all the world and proclaim the gospel. So we know that this was added later, or we don't know, but we have good information, good evidence leading to that, because it's not in our oldest manuscripts. So how did the Mormons get it if this comes from golden tablets? So do we just not have the manuscripts that have it? Or the manuscripts used back then? That's why we don't have anymore? Mormons got a big problem. That definitely comes straight out of the King James right there. That's directly from the King James. Or maybe he had the Geneva Bible, who knows? But he definitely got it from one of them. That is not original. That is not from gold tablets that were found. Which if you start looking into Joseph Smith, my wife and I, we were watching, the story gets wild. But anyway, guys, that was just it. We accept the long ending of Mark is not real, or it was added. The Mormons have it in their book that was given to them by Moroni, or buried him, and then gave him gave the revelation to Joseph Smith. All right, you guys, have a great rest of the day. That was interesting. Hope you guys enjoy it. I said 8 minutes. I got it done at 8 minutes and 40 seconds. All right, have a great rest of the night and stay blessed up.